You know, we share our homes, our lives, pretty much everything with our dogs. But what is really going on inside their furry little heads? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive deep into the science behind the surprisingly complex emotional world of our best friends. So, let's get right into it.
I mean, it's the question every single dog owner asks, right? When they whine at the door, or nudge your hand, or just stare at you with those big, soulful eyes, what does it all mean? Are they just running on instinct, or is there something much, much deeper going on in there?
For the longest time, really all we had were guesses. But now, thanks to some really clever experiments and some pretty amazing technology, scientists are finally starting to peel back the layers and give us some real evidence-based answers. And honestly, it's fascinating.
So where do we even begin? Let's start with a really big one: empathy. I think we've all had those moments where we're feeling down and our dog seems to just know. They come and put their head in our lap. But is that a real emotional response, or are we just imagining it? Well, one groundbreaking study decided to find out for sure.
Okay, so the key idea here is something called emotional contagion. It sounds complicated, but it's not. It's that feeling you get when you see someone yawn and boom, suddenly you have to yawn too. You're basically catching their feeling. It's a building block of empathy. And the big question for the scientists was, does this happen across species? Can dogs catch feelings from us?
So how in the world did they test this? Well, they played different sounds for both dogs and people. Things like a baby babbling, just some plain white noise, and a baby crying. All the while, they were measuring cortisol, which is the body's main stress hormone. And the results, they were pretty wild. For both us and the dogs, only one sound sent those stress levels through the roof: the sound of a baby in distress. And this is absolutely huge. Think about it. This isn't just a learned behavior, like sitting for a treat. This is a deep, involuntary, hormonal response to distress. It was the first real concrete proof that our dogs don't just act like they feel our pain. On a chemical level, their bodies are right there with us.
Okay, so we've got a handle on empathy. They can feel our pain. But what about something even more complex? Something a little more human, like jealousy? Well, to answer that question, scientists had to go a step further. They had to literally peek inside a dog's brain while it was happening.
And the inspiration for this whole experiment actually came from classic human psychology. Back in 1969, John Bowlby pointed out that for a little kid, just seeing their mom holding another baby is enough to trigger a really strong reaction. So researchers thought, wait a minute, could the exact same thing be true for dogs and their owners?
So, naturally, they put it to the test. They designed a whole experiment to see exactly how a dog would react when they saw their favorite person, their owner, giving all that love and affection to a potential rival.
The setup for this was just brilliant. They had these dogs who were trained to lie perfectly still, watching little videos from inside an fMRI scanner, which measures brain activity. Sometimes the video showed their owner petting another dog. Other times it showed a complete stranger petting that same dog. This design was super clever because it let them zero in on the dog's reaction specifically to their owner's actions. And what they found was just incredible. The dog's brains lit up in very specific spots. You had the amygdala, think of it as the brain's emotional alarm system, the insular cortex, which is tied to empathy, but then, and this is the big one, the hypothalamus lit up. And in human brain scans, that area is strongly associated with the feeling of jealousy. But here's the real kicker. That brain activity, especially in that jealousy spot, it only peaked when the dog saw their human with the other dog. When a stranger was doing the petting, the reaction just wasn't the same. This is powerful evidence for a jealousy-like emotion, one that seems directly tied to the fear of losing that special bond they have with us.
Alright, so we've seen this incredible emotional connection dogs have with us. But what about with each other? Well, it turns out they have this whole rich, complex language for communicating and sharing feelings, especially when it's time to just let loose and play.
A huge part of this is something scientists call rapid mimicry. It's this incredibly fast, we're talking less than a second, involuntary mirroring of another dog's facial expression. You know how you just can't help but smile back when someone gives you a big, genuine smile? It's kind of like that. It's empathy in action, and it's happening between dogs all the time.
So what exactly are they mimicking? Well, let's look at a couple of key signals. First up, you have the absolute classic, the play bow. Oh, you've seen this a million times. Front end goes down, butt stays in the air. It's a crystal clear signal that says, hey, whatever I do next, it's all in good fun, I promise. And then we have what's called the relaxed open mouth, or ROM for short. Now, this is basically a dog's version of a big, happy smile. It's an unmistakable sign that they're in a positive, happy mood and are ready to have a good time. And this is where it gets really, really cool. Check out this chart. It shows how often that rapid mimicry, that emotional mirroring actually happens. And it all depends on the relationship between the dogs. Just look at that bar for friends. It's way higher than for acquaintances or total strangers. It's so clear. The closer the bond, the deeper that empathic connection.
And this isn't just some neat little factoid. It has real-world impact. The study found that when dogs were actively mimicking each other's happy faces, their play sessions went on for a lot longer. So this sharing of positive vibes actually makes their friendship stronger and the fun lasts longer. It's amazing. So we've seen that adult dogs are capable of all this incredible stuff: empathy, jealousy, complex social communication. But where does it all come from? How do they learn this? Well, it turns out the foundation for all of it is laid during a very specific and very important time in their life. Take a look at this timeline. It shows the critical socialization window for a puppy. It swings open at about 3 weeks, hits its absolute peak around 8 weeks, and then starts to close up again by 14 weeks. During this super short, super important window, a puppy's brain is basically a little sponge, just soaking up every bit of information about the world, what's safe, what's scary, and how to get along with everyone. Making sure they have lots of positive experiences during this time is absolutely crucial for building that complex emotional toolkit we've been talking about. Good socialization doesn't just make them polite. It leads to better social skills, way less anxiety, and builds those amazing bonds with both us and other dogs. It is literally the foundation for a lifetime of emotional well-being.
So after all this, what does it all mean? What does all this science really tell us? Well, it paints a much richer and frankly, a much more incredible picture of the animal that might be sitting right at your feet as you watch this. Let's wrap it all up. You know, from a shared stress response to our pain, to brain activity that looks an awful lot like jealousy, to a sophisticated secret language of play, the evidence is just undeniable at this point. The emotional world of a dog is deep, it's nuanced, and now we know it's scientifically verifiable.
All of this research really gives us a whole new lens to see our best friends through. It asks us to look past just the wagging tail or the wet nose and really see the complex, emotional, social being that's right there in front of us. So the next time your dog looks up at you, what will you see?